Hi, everybody. So I just wanted to go over a little bit of the work that we did yesterday um, and talk about some models that people came up with. I saw a lot, like so many really, really good examples. I'm excited to see what you guys come up with. So let's go over some small misconceptions that I saw, and then I'll just set you up to get your project started. So here was my first question, right? This was the first thing in our check for understanding. Once the molecules are broken down, they pass through a membrane of cells during the process of blank. So one person wrote transferring and one person wrote diffusion. I want to give you guys a second to sort of decide what you think was the best answer. Go ahead. All right, so I ultimately thought that while transferring is totally true, I think diffusion is a better answer here because we're really talking about something passing through a membrane. And this is the process that we're studying. So if you chose answer B, I totally agree. Diffusion is the best answer here. Okay, concentration. Now, when we talk about concentration, I really want you to think about concentration in science, right? So if we're talking about what concentration means in science, then go ahead and choose which of these two is the best answer. Is it the action of focusing your attention, or is it the amount of substance in one area? Okay, so yes, if you chose B, then you are totally correct. This is much more what we're talking about when we're talking about science. And we measure concentration in biology class, but it's going to also be important in earth science, in chemistry, in physics, in any class that you take. When we talk about science and we're talking about concentration, we mean the amount of substance in the area, la cantidad de algo en un espacio. And when we think about that, like if the concentration is high, es alta, there's going to be a lot of the substance in a small area. Hay mucha sustancia en un área pequeña. And then in the opposite, if the concentration is small, right, or low, if the concentration is baja, then there is very little, right? Hay muy pocas cosas, right? Just a small amount in the area. Okay. So let's test this thing out. Right now, let's check this out. Do I have a high concentration of toilet paper on this shelf or a low concentration? Okay. Yes, absolutely. This is a high concentration of toilet paper. There is a lot. Now, let's check out this other scenario. This might be what your grocery store is looking like. Is this a high concentration of toilet paper or a low concentration? This one is low, right? There are very few, like, menos cosas on the shelves, right? There's just a few things on the shelf. So it's a low concentration. Here's another one. A beautiful beach. Wouldn't you guys like to be on the beach today? Is this beach highly concentrated or not very concentrated? Yeah, you can think of concentration like being crowded. This beach is really crowded. This has a high concentration of people. Ooh, okay, the desert. I want to know, is there a high concentration or a low concentration of trees, of árboles? Okay, finally, this picture, you might have seen this picture before. On the left side here, it says Inauguration, January 20th, 2009. This was when Barack Obama was inaugurated. He became president on this day. And on the right side, over here, this inauguration in 2017, this is when Donald Trump was inaugurated. Which inauguration had a higher concentration of people? The inauguration on the left, Barack Obama, or the inauguration on the right, Donald Trump? Which one had a higher concentration? Okay, yeah, you got it. Barack Obama's inauguration was very crowded. There were a lot of people in that space. It was highly concentrated. Looked like this one was less concentrated. Maybe less people wanted to come see Donald Trump. I don't know. Okay, so let's look at another example of diffusion, and we're going to look at the tea example. I know you guys did this in your review yesterday, so I want to just talk about it. Here's the beginning. The beginning, I have my tea bag and I have my water. It's probably hot water, and they haven't connected yet. So right now in the beginning, where's my high concentration? Is it in the tea bag or is it in the water? Okay, the high concentration of tea is in my tea bag. Okay. And the low concentration is in my water, which means that the tea is going to diffuse from the high concentration to the low concentration. This happens every single time. We always want to remember high to low, high to low. Now, in this case, my question is, what is diffusing? Is the tea diffusing out of the bag, or is the water diffusing into the bag? We can measure this by looking at the water, right? The thing that's changing here is the water, and it's getting, the tea is diffusing out of the bag into the water. And we can see over time, as the time goes on, the water becomes more highly concentrated. It's taking the tea out of the bag and becoming more concentrated. Okay? So this is a great example because it could be one that you actually use at home, and if you want to use the tea example, that's totally fine. The cell example that we did on our review, most people got the tea one down, but the cell one seemed a little bit more confusing. So remember, this is at the start right here in this picture. This is before, right? This is at the start of everything. When we start, the outside of the cell has the highest concentration, right? There are more particles outside of the cell. At the beginning, inside of the cell is a low concentration. There's only 6 particles inside the cell. So if I had to predict which way the particles were going to move, are these particles inside going to move to the outside? Or are the particles outside going to move to the inside? Now this answer down here is totally correct. The particles diffuse from the high concentration through the cell membrane to a low concentration. You also might have written that it diffused from the outside to the inside. You want to make sure that whatever you write down here matches high first, low second. So from the outside, high concentration, to the inside, low concentration. Okay, so I wanted to go through some of the models that people talked about just to give us an idea of just some ideas that people are doing. So this was one. I'm going to spray perfume in the air to show how the molecules diffuse through the air. Great. Inside your perfume bottle, there's a high concentration of perfume, and as you spray it, those molecules are going to like spread out, right? Great. Just think about how you want to show this. I am realizing that it could be better to take a video of some of these things. So if you would rather make a video instead of taking 2 photos, that's totally fine. Okay, this one was really cool, and I wanted to shout this person out because they thought it through. I'm going to show diffusion by cooking oatmeal. This is so great. So the dry oatmeal has no water in it. It has a low concentration of water. And the water in the pot has obviously a lot of water, right? So they're showing how the water moves from the outside into the dry oatmeal, which is sort of like absorbing, but that's the same thing. That's also diffusion, right? The water is moving into the oatmeal into the dry oatmeal, causing it to like get a little bigger and fluffier and moist. So this works with oatmeal, it works with rice, it works with pasta, porridge. There's a bunch of things. Anything that absorbs water or soaks it up and grows, that all would work as diffusion. Okay, I'm going to add half and half into my coffee and watch it diffuse and cause the coffee to turn a different color. That's a great way to show diffusion, is the way that it mixing two things causes the color to change. So you could do that with food dye, you could do it with cream in your coffee, you could do it with adding like soy sauce to water, right? They're different colors, so they could show the mixing. Any of those things work.
Okay, guys, so today is the day. It's day 2, Wednesday. Your big job today is to take photos of your model. So you could do photos, you could do video, either way. Upload those into the document under day 2, and then go ahead, explain the different sections, and start with your big explanation for question 4. It's really important to get all this stuff done today so that on Friday we can do some revision. All right, I'm here. We're all here to help you out. Get started.